Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm delighted to have you here today. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. Today, I will be talking about technology transfer for API, which stands for Active Pharmaceutical Ingredients. In this presentation, we will explore the key aspects of transferring technology in the pharmaceutical industry, focusing on how to efficiently move processes from development to manufacturing. So, let's get started and look forward to a productive session together. So, what we're looking at here is how technology transfer, or TT, plays a crucial role in ensuring that the receiving unit, or RU, can reliably produce the active pharmaceutical ingredient, the API, within the specified quality parameters. Essentially, TT guarantees that the manufacturing process remains reproducible and consistent, no matter where or when it's done. The scope of TT covers everything from research and development, moving seamlessly into manufacturing. It also includes site-to-site transfers, which might happen if a product is being moved from one manufacturing location to another, as well as scale-up activities or post-approval changes that are often necessary as a product progresses through its life cycle. Now, let's clarify what TT actually involves. It's a systematic, well-structured procedure designed to transfer key knowledge. This includes product details, process specifics, and analytical methods, from the sending unit, or SU, to the receiving unit, or RU. The goal is to ensure that the RU can replicate the process exactly as it was originally developed. By doing so, TT helps maintain product quality, consistency, and compliance throughout the entire manufacturing process. It's a vital step that underpins the overall theme of reliable, high-quality production in our industry. Let's start by looking at the objectives of API technology transfer. The main goal here is to ensure that the active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, maintain consistent quality and purity. This consistency is crucial for patient safety and product efficacy. Another key objective is to transfer process robustness, meaning the manufacturing process should be reliable and capable of producing the API within specified parameters every time. We also need to make sure that all aspects of the transfer comply with regulatory standards, which is essential for approval and market access. Finally, a critical goal is enabling commercial manufacturing readiness. That means the process should be scalable and ready for large-scale production without compromising quality or efficiency. Moving on to the key elements of technology transfer, one of the most important is the transfer of process and product knowledge. This includes understanding how the process works and the characteristics of the product that need to be controlled. Critical quality attributes, or CQAs, are the properties of the API that must be tightly controlled to ensure safety and efficacy. Critical process parameters, or CPPs, are the key process variables that influence these CQAs. Developing a solid control strategy is essential. It ties everything together by defining how we monitor and control these parameters to maintain quality. Documentation and validation are also vital. They provide the evidence and traceability needed to demonstrate that the process is consistent and meets all specifications. Finally, it's important to remember that CQAs, CPPs, and the control strategy must be clearly defined, thoroughly understood, and properly transferred during the process. This ensures that everyone involved is aligned and that the process remains robust and compliant throughout the transfer. Let's talk about the essential roles and responsibilities involved in technology transfer. First, we need trained personnel and effective communication at every step. On the sending side, or the sending unit, the focus is on providing in-depth process knowledge, sharing development reports, and outlining the analytical methods used. This ensures the receiving team has a clear understanding of the process. On the receiving side, or the receiving unit, their responsibilities include assessing facility readiness, qualifying the equipment, and executing the process itself. These steps are crucial to ensure that the technology is transferred smoothly and that the process performs as intended in the new environment. It's important to understand that this process spans the entire technology transfer lifecycle, from the initial development phase through transfer planning and transfer execution, all the way to validation and verification. Once validated, it moves into routine production. To give a practical example, think about the progression from lab synthesis to pilot scale, and finally to commercial API production. Each stage builds on the previous one, requiring close collaboration and clear communication between the sending and receiving units to ensure success. Now, let's take a closer look at our gap analysis and risk assessment. First, in the gap analysis, we focus on identifying differences in equipment, utilities, and process capability. These differences can impact the consistency and quality of our manufacturing process, so it's crucial to understand where gaps exist. Moving on to risk assessment, particularly based on ICH Q9 guidelines, the goal is to identify potential risks to critical quality attributes, or CQAs. Once we spot these risks, we then define strategies to mitigate them, helping us ensure product quality and patient safety. For example, if we use different reactor sizes, that could introduce variability in mixing, which might affect the final product. Recognizing that risk allows us to implement controls to keep everything within acceptable limits. Documentation plays a vital role here, especially for technology transfer. We need comprehensive documentation like the technology transfer dossier, master batch records, and detailed analytical methods and specifications. Validation protocols and stability data also form part of this documentation. Having complete and accurate records ensures traceability and reproducibility. This means if there's ever an issue, we can trace back every step and replicate the process reliably, which is essential for regulatory compliance and continuous improvement. Let's talk about process validation for APIs. First, we typically focus on prospective or concurrent validation, which means we validate the process either before or during production to ensure everything is in control. Usually, a minimum of 3 validation batches are required, but this can vary depending on the process complexity. It's also crucial to define acceptance criteria early on, so we know what standards the process must meet to be considered validated. Validation must thoroughly cover critical process steps that directly impact the quality of the API. This includes verifying that each key step consistently produces the desired outcome. Sometimes, this involves method verification or revalidation, especially if there are changes or updates to the analytical methods used. System suitability testing is another vital part. It ensures that analytical systems are functioning correctly before testing samples. When applicable, comparative testing, like comparing a standard reference material with a retained sample, helps confirm consistency, such as in SU versus RU testing. For example, transferring an HPLC impurity profiling method requires careful validation to confirm that the analytical method reliably detects impurities. Remember, all analytical methods used in validation must be either fully validated or scientifically justified to ensure they are suitable and reliable for the intended purpose. This process validation is key to maintaining high-quality APIs and ensuring regulatory compliance, which ultimately supports product safety and efficacy. Let's take a closer look at equipment qualification, which is essential for ensuring our equipment performs reliably and consistently. First, we have design qualification, or DQ, which is about making sure the equipment design meets our specific process needs before we even acquire it. Next is installation qualification, IQ, where we verify that the equipment was installed correctly according to the manufacturer's specifications and our requirements. Then comes operational qualification, OQ, which tests that the equipment operates as intended across its entire range of functions. Finally, we have performance qualification, PQ, where we confirm that the equipment consistently produces the desired results in real-world conditions. All these steps together form a comprehensive approach to validating our equipment, helping us maintain quality and compliance throughout the product lifecycle. This qualification process is a key part of the overall quality management system, ensuring everything functions properly from design through to production. Let's talk about some of the challenges we face and how we can address them. First, scale-up issues are quite common when moving from lab to production. It's crucial to understand that processes don't always scale linearly, so we need strategies to manage that transition smoothly. Next, equipment differences can also pose challenges. Different machines may behave slightly differently, which can impact consistency. It's important to recognize these differences early and plan accordingly. Raw material variability is another key challenge. Variations in raw materials can affect the final product quality, so we need to implement measures to control this variability effectively. Now, on the mitigation side, adopting a risk-based approach helps us prioritize where to focus our efforts. By assessing potential risks, we can develop targeted strategies to minimize issues before they arise. Running pilot batches is another important step. These smaller-scale tests allow us to identify and address problems early on, reducing surprises later in full-scale production. Finally, establishing a robust control strategy is essential. This means having strong process controls and monitoring systems in place to ensure consistent quality throughout production, despite these challenges. All of these approaches help us stay aligned with our overall goal of delivering high-quality products reliably. Let's look at this case study involving paracetamol, also known as acetaminophen. This example really highlights some of the typical transfer challenges we face when moving from lab scale to a commercial plant. When scaling up, heat removal becomes a critical issue, because what works in the lab doesn't always translate directly to larger equipment. This can lead to problems like impurity formation, which can affect product quality and yield. To address these challenges, we made some specific adjustments. We fine-tuned the cooling rate to better control the reaction environment and prevent unwanted impurities. We also optimized the reaction time to ensure the process was efficient and consistent at larger scale. The good news is, these solutions led to successful validation batches that met all specifications. This example really underscores the importance of carefully adapting process parameters during scale-up, and how thoughtful adjustments can lead to successful commercial production while maintaining product quality. So, in conclusion, technology transfer plays a truly critical role throughout the entire API lifecycle. It's not just a step, it's the backbone that ensures everything runs smoothly from development to manufacturing. To achieve this, strong documentation is essential, clear, detailed records that everyone can follow and trust. Risk management is also key. Identifying potential issues early helps prevent costly mistakes down the line. Regulatory compliance cannot be overlooked either, as meeting all the necessary standards ensures that the product is safe and effective. When these elements come together, they help us maintain consistent quality, safety, and efficacy of the API. Ultimately, successful technology transfer helps us deliver reliable, high-quality medicines to patients, which is the core goal of everything we do in this field. For further support, please contact us. If you have any questions or need additional information, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help you succeed. Thank you so much for your time and attention today.